Dallas Mavericks, LA Clippers, Game 4. The Clippers are back in this series, and it's not looking good for the Mavericks. Luka Doncic dealing with a nerve injury. I still feel like the Clippers can't solve the Luka problem. Even with dealing with an injury, rough game, but still, Luka was able to make Luka plays. And what happens when that hot three-point shooting is basically non-existent? The Mavericks 5 for 30 from the three-point line. Their shooters just couldn't get it going. Also, it doesn't help that the Mavs really don't have another great or elite level shot creator next to Luka. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, just unstoppable this game. The Mavs defense really has no answer for them, especially Kawhi. We all like to talk about that the Clippers don't have an answer for Luka, but we gotta be fair here. The Mavs have zero answer for Kawhi Leonard. Maxey is doing the best that he can. He really is, but Kawhi is just on another level. Now the Clippers role players are finding a three-point shooting groove, much needed. They are the best three-point shooting team in the league. They went stale the first two games, and now they are picking it back up. Ty Lue finally went with a small ball lineup, inserting Nicholas Batum to start this game. Kudos to Ty Lue, finally realized and basically said, we don't trust Kristaps to beat us, so we are going small. You are playing into our hands now. Kristaps did have a good game, but you can still see that the Clippers don't quite trust him. And just a little bit of talking about Kristaps. The thing with Kristaps is that he isn't an elite shot creator scorer. He hasn't proved that yet. His game right now is floor space and shooter. He hasn't shown that he can back down guards, forwards, and get inside and score at will. He hasn't shown that he can take guys off the dribble and get to the rim and make plays. The Clippers can live with the fadeaway post-up shots, plays right into their hands, especially if he isn't backing down and getting inside. I know there has been discourse within the Mavs fan base of how Kristaps is being utilized through the season. This ultimately comes down to Kristaps having to just get better as a player. I can't even blame Rick Carlisle because there is only so much you can do with a tall guy who can't really bang down low and score with ease against smaller guys, and he can't really drive inside with ease, and on top of that, the defense needs work. His post game is more so finesse and just trying to get to his jump shot. Limited counter moves, and he doesn't have the power to bully guys. With the Clippers going small, this creates more space on the court to work with for Kawhi and PG, and once these guys get in the lane, it's pretty much over for the Mavs. They can create their shots, draw help defense, and kick out the shooters. The Mavs through the series has sent a lot of help defense to pressure Kawhi early. With more spacing now, it opens up more options for the shooters, and it forces the Mavs bigs to have to guard the perimeter. The counter to this by the Mavs, it was pretty funny, was to put in Boban. This does work offensively. It forces the Clippers to play more in a drop coverage off of ball screens instead of switching, because it creates mismatches. But defensively, this won't pan out. Bobby isn't quick enough or comfortable guarding the perimeter, so you take him out of the paint and he is kind of on an island. Let's get into the film. The Mavs got KP going early here. Quick screen, not really a screen, and slip creates the switch. Kristaps is able to get in post position on PG. Turnaround fadeaway shot, good. These are the shots he has to make consistently, especially if you're not going to bang down low. The Mavs get Luka working in the post on Reggie Jackson. There isn't an immediate double team. Kawhi signals for Batum to cover his man in Maxey, while Kawhi goes over and helps when Luka gets inside. Kawhi is able to get a nice block here, and the Clippers move in transition. Kawhi is able to drive inside, draw the help of Luka and Finney-Smith. This opens up Batum up top for three. Paul George is able to break down his defender in Finney-Smith, gets inside the lane, and gets this turnaround floater. The Mavs come back down, gets a Luka KP ball screen, forces the switch. Batum now on Luka. Luka goes for a step back, but it's no good. The Clippers come back down the court. Morris hits Kawhi. Kawhi immediately attacks KP, puts his head down, and gets a layup. The Mavs come up, and this is great help defense by Kawhi off the Finney-Smith cut, sending his shot back. With time running down for the Mavs, the ball goes to Luka of Kawhi guarding. Luka looks to get a ball screen from THJ, Reggie Jackson hedges, and Kawhi Leonard stays home. Hallelujah. Good pressure defense by Kawhi, and Luka is forced to pass the ball with time running low, and the Clips are able to close out on a Finney-Smith 3 here. The Mavs went to bringing in Boban to counter the small ball lineup by the Clippers, putting a more inside presence on the Clippers. Off the PG free throw, Boban is able to get ahead of the defense. Luka throws this beautiful dime and Bobby scores. And they kept feeding him. Here the Mavs get Batum to switch on Bobby. Luka immediately feeds him. Took a few tries, but Bobby, tallest man, grabs the rebound and lays it up. And this was some good defense from Bobby. The Mavs play him in a drop against PG. PG gets downhill. Bobby closes him off. PG relocates to the corner 3, and Boban is able to close out on him. Kawhi ball screen with Batum. The Mavs have Boban drop. Kawhi gets downhill, and he is just too strong. Off the ball screen here, the Clippers play Luka in a drop. This floater is short. The Clippers come down. Luka's the last man coming up in transition. Willie Cauley-Stein here is stuck in having to choose the corner shooter or the big to guard. Luka struggles to find someone to guard. Good pass here by Rondo, and the Clippers get a dunk. Great defense here by the Clippers, most notably Rondo. The Mavs get Luka in the post on Terrence Mann. The Clippers throw Zubac over to help. Rondo stays nearby Stein. Stein is able to get the ball but gets stripped by Rondo. The Clippers come up in transition. Good job by Rondo finding the open Reggie Jackson in the corner. He does get closed out by Stein, but step back 3 is good. And this is where Paul George is just scary. He just comes up the lane, breaks down the defense, gets going left with the ball screen, and rises up and knocks down this 3. PG coming up here again. Zubac kind of motions as if he is going to screen. Finney-Smith anticipates it, so PG crosses over going left, puts Smith in jail. One defender to beat. Zubac kind of just seals off Stein, which is pretty funny, and Paul is able to score inside. And geez, this is a pretty tough shot here from Paul George. The Mavericks were getting good looks for 3, but it just wasn't dropping. Here an example, the Mavs get KP in the post against PG. Rondo is helping near the paint off of Smith. Good read by Kristaps, but Finney-Smith doesn't connect on the 3. And the Mavs get a good action off this stack pick and roll, something that the Clippers actually struggle to contain. Zubac is able to get over the back screen by THJ. Reggie Jackson switches on to Luka on the closeout. This opens up THJ. He gets in the lane and gets this floater to go. Off the Luka Boban screen, Luka is able to get by Morris, draws the help of Zubac. Paul George comes over to tag Boban. Reggie Jackson rotates to cover the corner. This opens up THJ at the top of the key for 3, but no good. And these kind of plays are just demoralizing for the Mavericks. Kawhi gets the ball, just stares down Maxey. Maxey swipes at the ball, and Kawhi just fires and just makes it. Luka is able to come up the floor, get a drag screen from Boban. Zubac drops. Luka gets Kawhi in jail, and this floater is good. The Clippers come down. PG is able to get a switch on Luka off the ball screen. PG breaks down Luka. Good defense by Luka. Good contest. Forces PG into a miss. And same thing for the Mavs. Get a drag screen by Boban. Luka gets inside facing a drop coverage. Puts Jackson in jail and gets the and one floater to go. The Mavs here get some offense going out of a Horns alignment. THJ comes up and screens. I don't know what happens here. It seems like Jackson wanted to hedge, but he trips over, I believe, THJ's leg. This gets the defense out of whack, but nonetheless, Luka misses this floater here. This is where the Clippers are scary. Ball movement, they get the defense scrambling and rotating. Here, Kawhi gets a ball screen, gets to go one-on-one against KP. He gets in the lane, draws the help from Kleba. This opens up Batum. Luka has to rotate over to close out. The ball swings to Morris. KP closes out, but Morris gets an advantage to drive off of KP closing out. And he draws a help defense of Kleba. He then passes it to Kawhi, pass to Batum. Notice the defense having to continuously rotate, and the ball eventually finds PG in the corner. Now, the defense here isn't actually bad by the Mavs. The Mavs do a good job closing out and rotating. Finney-Smith is stuck between two defenders. KP has to notice the rotation and the movement. He isn't guarding anyone. Kleber already is covering Morris, and he just jogs over to close out on PG in the corner. The Mavs were doing their best to get KP his type of shots, and he has to make the most out of these. Good job by KP getting in the low post and goes straight into a shot. Dorian Finney-Smith's best attribute as an offensive player is being a spot-up shooter. He can't really attack or create by himself, only when an advantage is set up for him. Here, Luka is able to get in the lane, draw the help of Kawhi, which opens up Maxey in the corner. Batum has to rotate over. Finney-Smith has to make this type of shot. Kawhi is able to get ahead of the transition defense, and Rondo makes this pass on the money to Kawhi for the dunk. This quick Rondo-Kawhi ball screen creates a switch, and the Clippers immediately attack it. Kawhi gets to work off a spin move, and damn, it's this easy. And I mean, come on, Kawhi. Just right between the eyes of Maxey Kleber. Off the Kawhi Jackson ball screen, Jackson immediately slips inside, and the Mavericks double Kawhi. Kawhi gets it to Jackson. This draws in help of Luka and KP. Quick kick out to Morris, then Batum, and the Clips get a 3. And just Kawhi here driving left by Maxey. Luka helps and closes off the driving lane. Kawhi was able to get through, which is pretty impressive, and kicks it out to an open Morris. Luka is late to close out, and the Clippers get a 3. The LA Clippers right now are in the driver's seat of this series. And this series is a prime example of how it takes one game just to turn a series around. The Mavericks need their shooters to be knocking down threes consistently if they want to win this series. If they go cold, it's going to be really tough, and I really don't see a way the Mavericks win this. And the fact of the matter is that the Mavericks defense is not good enough to consistently get stops, especially not against this Clippers offense. Ty Lue made the adjustments necessary to get his team back in this series, and his team has been able to stay in it and find a rhythm. Now all the spotlight is on veteran coach Rick Carlisle to respond, and with a young team like the Mavericks losing a commanding 2-0 lead to start the series and losing game 4 in a blowout may kill their spirits. But that's the beauty of the playoffs. You really start to see what teams are truly made of. Now we get to see what this Mavs team is made of going into game 5.